I just want to give a brief introduction to myself and to what I'm going to be speaking about for the foreseen future and beyond until this issue ceases. My name's Mark Williams and I'm a life coach in Leeds, and I don't have any huge goal today other than to introduce the subject and maybe just get you to really consider what you view your view of reality to be, because I know mine has certainly changed a lot over the years, and much of what I thought was me doing the changing actually turned out to be something that was really quite conspicuous and really quite evil underneath the surface. And it can be very hard for someone to understand when they've not been in the situation exactly what might be happening and why someone or why some people might be evil enough to be doing what they're doing. The fact of the matter is they're not evil, but they've just been subject to this mind control technology themselves. And so the issue that I'd like to talk about in this video and going forward from this is the issue of electronic harassment and mind control. And also I'd like to tie that into how this operates from the electronic control grid and all the other common deceptions that are currently getting brainwashed into society. So the first thing I would like to do is just say that we live in our modern day world and we think that everything is rosy, because on the surface it appears rosy, that we have this civilized society and that everything goes A1 okay, nothing really bad that happens. Okay, we've had a few terrorist events, but I mean, even that, I can go into detail about that, but I'll leave that for another time. But for the most part, we view our society as being relatively safe and relatively stable and a safe place to live. Let's view it like the analogy that if somebody came up to you with a club, say for example you're a caveman or even on the street, and someone came up to you with an instrument, a weapon, and they started to wave that weapon in the air, or heaven forbid, they actually started to attack you with that weapon. Well, you'd defend yourself, of course, or you'd run away, wouldn't you? Fight or flight. And this is the problem. We no longer live in a society. It's not a problem. It's a good thing on one level. We no longer live in a society where we have to run from that potential overt, obvious threat of someone threatening us with a knife on a day-to-day level with a gun. For the most part, generally, in most areas of the city and most places you go, we live in a quite a safe society on the surface. We don't have to escape that overt threat through something being there in our face, threatening us. So that's good on one level, but what's happened and what people have been disillusioned into thinking is that while this overt threat has gone down and crime appears to have gone down, crime really has gone under the surface, and the technology of crime and the crime they use, people will always use the technology that is available to them in whatever era or whatever year that we're in, whatever part and stage of development we're in, year of development that we're in. And so what's happened is the war has gone effectively underground, or the violence has gone underground into technology, and hence the subject of electronic harassment. These criminals, which are, I'm sad to say, a lot of the time, and most of the time coming from deep state and deep government usage and control, are getting abused and are getting aimed and used on the general population, aka targeted individuals. These people are getting targeted for many different reasons with this electronic technology. They're getting targeted because they spoke out, because they were dissident, because they see them as a threat in any way, or simply because they're getting targeted because they know something about, they're a scientist and they know a lot about technology and they've gone against the grain, or they're a whistleblower who's exposed what's going on, or for a lot of people, a lot of targets have just been chosen at random to test this technology on. Because from what I understand from my research into this, and from what I've seen in the world around me, is that more and more people are starting to become affected by this technology. My understanding is they have the ability to use this technology on a few levels. The first level is they can target people, like myself, who they've targeted. And secondly, they can target people by using this technology, almost like in an area blanket wash, where they can use these electronic frequencies within an area and set these frequencies in an area, and anyone who falls within that blanket area, say, my understanding is it's within, say, about the size of a city centre, that kind of size that they can do this in at the moment, anyone within that area becomes subject to them frequencies, and this has an effect upon their brain and on their neurology to actually make them think or feel in a certain way. For example, they can make large amounts of crowds think and feel in certain ways at the same time and control this via this technology. And this is getting rolled out on a more advanced and technological scale all the time, hence more and more people coming forward saying they're being targeted. I have a prediction personally that this is something that will start to come out and become more mainstream, and people will not be able to actually ignore it anymore, because people will be, well, why are these people getting targeted? What is going on for them to say they're targeted? And they'll start investigating the matter. The other way that they can target people is directly, so they can target people generally, but they can also target people directly. And I'm no scientist on the matter. I've done a lot of research, but the science and the patents are already there, and I've seen these patents for these weapons that have been around since the 50s. When they did the MKUltra experiments, they were testing these weapons and all these different types of weapons upon their own civilians in America. And when it came out, they told everyone the program had been stopped. But many insiders from intelligence agencies and government agencies have already come out and have already told people, and have come out saying that the experiments were never really stopped but continued on a much deeper level and a much more advanced level. And new patents and new technologies have come out, throughout the years, making these technologies and this issue of electronic control and electronic harassment even greater than they were previously in the 50s. We're now at a much deeper stage of this program, and while I say this program, I don't want to scare anyone. I personally believe, and I'm sure of this, that they will not get away with it, the perpetrators who are doing this, because they cannot fool 7 billion people, however many people in the world. That is, for want of a better way of saying it, mathematically impossible, which I heard on a video, and I can feel how that is true. But, and here's a big but, we must speak out, we must educate ourselves on the subject and what is really going on, because they're trying to devastate people's lives via this technology and stop them speaking out at all costs. And what they do is they try and isolate an individual, they try and take their friends and families away from them by making them appear crazy, and by using this technology upon them to brainwash them, to mind control them, to turn against them, or to send them to a psychiatrist. And they also do is with the friends of the people and the work colleagues of the people, until that person, typically what they try and do is they try and get them to lose their job, their career, their respect, their personal respect, their societal respect, their credibility, their financial capability and income. They try and take everything away from an individual. And I felt this program being issued on myself, trying to do this to me for a lot of years. in all of these areas, constantly trying to degrade me in all these areas and isolate me and stop me speaking out and stop me helping other people. Because I've always been someone who's spoken out, and I've always been an honest and truthful person. I've always tried to help people. And, you know, the state doesn't like that. The state doesn't like free thinkers. We think we live in an enlightened society, free society. We don't. Really, the technology and the misuse of control has just gone underground. Because the best way you can control someone or a society is to make them think that they're free, but really, they have no idea what's going on. And so anyone who goes against the system gets labelled that they're crazy for even coming up with it, for even saying this. When there's facts, there's patents against this, there's whistleblowers who've come out from these agencies. It's left a paper trail, it's left evidence, it's left events, such as the COINTELPRO scandal, the MK Ultra scandal. These things are not coincidences. You do enough research and join the dots, you'll see that these things are not coincidence. You'll see from the amount of targeted people, if you look at targeted individuals and symptoms, you can either verify that you've probably had many of these yourself, or you know someone who has, or you know someone who's got a quote-unquote mental illness who's actually just going through electronic harassment, has been surveyed by the state. When I say the state, I also mean in and through security companies, in and through massive companies like Amazon and other big companies, in and through the media as well. Well, that's not technically right. It's not the media doing this exactly, but they're brainwashed as well as part of this. But they're doing it in all these ways to keep society running the materialistic way and keep the power in their hands and stop us from being free. So my advice would be to really research these terms of electronic control grid, electronic harassment, satellite terrorism, targeted individual, mind control, voice to skull, and really look at these terms and educate yourself and protect yourself and protect your family, because this is only getting rolled out on a bigger scale. And we need to stop being so comfortable and passive and think that we've got it good when we're really feeding off the crumbs from these powerful people, these elite people. These elite people didn't get to where they were from being nice. These elite people are part of the secret societies and have always had the power. And they control the government, corporations, the media, the pharmaceutical companies, by having the money and by operating and owning the central banks. They have the license to print money. And so these are the real rich of the world. You know, these own the vast majority of the world's wealth. And we're peasants in comparison. We earn, as a mass populace, we earn very little percentage of the world's wealth. And I'm trying to be as objective as I can about the video in general, because obviously there's a lot of emotion in me from having been subject to this torture for many years, and I'm trying to keep that neutrality and that objectiveness about that. But as you can probably see underneath it, you know, I'm a person that's being dragged from mill to mill, and enough is enough. This needs to come out. And so any of the targeted individuals who are watching this, I would just say, speak out and keep speaking out. When you do, it settles down, and you gain a certain momentum and a bravery that keeps you going. Form other support groups. It's when you're not sure of yourself and when you keep questioning, going from pillar to post and being inactive, it's when you stop. That's when it gets really bad, because you feel like you're going insane. You must keep going. You must have faith in the evidence trail and your own experience and the experience of all these other TIs, and you must keep going and be strong and keep speaking out. They'll try and feed you as many lies as they can. Do not listen to any of them. Just observe them and let them go. Just go, yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, these people are cowards. They're cowards. They're absolute cowards. So be strong. Be strong. Keep your credibility. Keep calm. Keep connected. Keep working if you can. I know many TIs who've had their jobs completely taken from them. So keep working. You have to keep working. But be active. Be as active as you can, and spend 100% of your time, as much time as you can, within a balanced mindset, and you know what's right for you. Spend as much of your time as you can spreading on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, making your own blogs. That's a good one. Make your own blogs, make your own YouTube videos, get the word out. Write letters to MPs, news stations, newspapers. Form a local TI group or group that's been affected by artificial intelligence technology. People that have been affected by electronic harassment. Do all these things. And once you've got momentum on them, they'll start to get going. I'm in the beginning stage of this, but I'm starting to plan and do all of these areas now. Although, as I say, I've still not got round much to the out activism yet. It's more been the online activism that I've been doing so far. So, I just want to say from today's video is just a general introduction. Who's doing this? Well, there are many people who are doing this. I've even understand that it could have gotten to the wrong hands, criminal gangs' hands, who are using this technology as well for insurance scam purposes or anything. I don't know that exactly, but I know from my own experience that my targeting seems to directly correspond to whenever I share this information, speak out, that I've been targeted more in the past. And it's only because I've kept speaking out that the targeting seems to have diminished, because now I'm running the shots. And I say that any time that I get harassed, I will do it 3 times as much, and I stick to it. And that's how strong you have to be. You have to be, because it can seem so convincing. And just have faith in human nature. Have faith in the ability to people to understand the truth, and to raise this issue, to keep speaking about it until it's brought to light, until it's gone to court, until actual laws are passed. That needs to be our goal. Actual laws becoming passed that regulates this technology, that's not used upon its citizens, and that we're protected. We have to bring this to courts. Keep writing down your evidence. If you're being harassed by this technology, keep writing down your evidence every day. Back up everything on hard copy. Forum posts, Facebook posts, anything, emails, texts, telephone calls, anything. Save it and back it up onto paper. Digital copy and hard copy. And do this every day. And document your experience on Facebook or a blog of what's happened to you, what you're going through. Keep telling people the symptoms. Keep telling people the general situation with the electronic grilling, electronic harassment. Keep telling people every single aspect about the weapons that they're using, the direct energy weapons. There's actual photos of these weapons that you can see of them, starting the California fires recently. But that's another subject completely. Anyway, I'd just like to wrap that up for today and just say, for anyone who's new to this, just please research this area and please look into it. And keep researching this area, keep looking into it, keep helping out others who claim to be affected. Compassion and communication will get us through this. Love will get us through this. I honestly believe that. We have to take action. We have to take action. Anyone who's been affected by this, speak out and keep speaking out. Our voice will be heard, because this is a crime against humanity, an absolute crime. And these people, we need to get justice from these people, because for its own state to turn against this people as a control mechanism is the lowest and the worst thing that me personally, I could possibly imagine. But I'm going to take my personal feelings out of this. I'm going to remain very neutral. But thank you for listening. Keep listening in to my future videos. Keep spreading the word. Keep investigating. Keep looking out. Keep looking at the symptoms. Keep understanding the general situation. Keep looking at the papers. Keep listening to the whistleblowers. And keep taking action. Keep taking action. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. I wish you all love whoever's watching. Thank you.